Let's turn our focus to one of these concepts, one of them being the safe sports policy. And if you could elaborate a bit more on that.
Yeah, I think firstly, very laudable objective. Of course, uh, another way of looking at it is to say that that is the responsibility of organizers of sport to ensure that there is a safe environment, whether it is for an athlete, whether it's for a fan who is attending a sports event, whether it's for women athletes, whether it's for children, they owe a responsibility. So while it is a laudable objective, I think it was long overdue. The other thing to bear in mind here is that this is coming in the immediate aftermath of a sporting tragedy that just took place in June when you had the stampede outside the Chinnaswamy Stadium, which unfortunately resulted in the death of a certain number of individuals, and a number of people were also injured in the process as well. And casting a very, very unfavorable light on all those who were involved in the organization of that particular event, whether it was the KSCA, the BCCI, Royal Challengers Bangalore, event manager, DNA Networks as well. Yeah. And for that matter, even the government of Karnataka as well. Right? A few things to bear in mind here. That is a microcosm or a classic example. I'd be interested in knowing that if this incident had happened when this bill was actually, the law of the land, how would the provisions of this bill trigger a response from the National Sports Board? How would it trigger a response from the National Sports Tribunal? Could the tribunal take measures to sanction or penalize the federation for improper conduct of the sporting event? Can it pass orders for paying damages to those who have suffered a loss of life and grievous harm as well? So I think one, when I look at chapter 6, right, it says the board shall frame a comprehensive safe sports policy applicable to all events, operations, and proceedings conducted by national sports bodies. And it says that the safe sports policy shall include provisions to ensure protection and safety of women and minor athletes and such other persons as may be prescribed. Notable omission is that of a fan. And the one who was worst affected when this entire tragedy unfolded was a fan. And we've seen this time and over across all Indian sports, stadia and facilities as well. Lack of access to hygienic facilities, hygienic food being served during the course of an event, access to sanitation, access to, basic things like having a roof above all stands at various stadia. Even if you were to leave aside all of those facilities and say that those are add-on facilities, this case exposed the fact that there were no ambulances present at the venue, basically no traffic management protocols, no crowd management protocols as well. Just yesterday, I was reading an article which said that the John Michael Kuna committee, which has investigated this incident, has in its report clearly stated that the Chinnaswamy Stadium is unfit for hosting major public events. And that actually is a damning indictment on the KSCA. Interestingly, this ties into some other provisions of the proposed legislation where it says that, there should be a minimum of 2 sports persons of outstanding repute to be on the executive committee of these bodies. Yeah, the presence of sports persons in this particular instance on the committee of the KSCA did not lead to a better outcome at the end of the day. I'm not saying that they are the only ones to blame for this event as well. But I think what we also need to look at is take a more holistic approach. What I'd be really keen to see is the safe sports, because it says that the board will frame a safe sports policy for all events conducted by national sports body. Now, that basically means every board will have to adopt the same safe sports policy as well, right? Now, if that's the case, what we need to bear in mind is whether all of these issues, which I just outlined, whether it's traffic management, ambulance, sanitation, access for disabled people as well, whether all of those are specifically covered in this policy. Until then, this is merely, I would say, lip service towards promotion of safe sports. I will not read too much into this until I see the rules and regulations that are framed under this legislation.